Hey y'all, Will here, otherwise Xelray, and today in Monster Hunter Wilds we're going to be releasing our first video, and it's going to be a little bit more benign than you might think. It's not going to be how to defeat the hardest boss in the game. It's not going to be about how to wield the weapon you want to as effectively as possible. That's going to be coming later. Right now we're going to be going over one of the first challenging things that you find in the game, especially as a keyboard and mouse player, which I am. I know, some might say that's not the way to play, but a lot of us do. We're going to be going over the UI and the menu system and how to most effectively use them and navigate them to do whatever you want to do. There's going to be a lot of breakups in this video down below, so feel free to skip ahead to something that you might need more than the other things I'm going to be mentioning. However, I hope that this does help a lot of people. I hope that this can even help some veterans of the series if they're not too familiar with all the crazy things in the menu system. So let's get right into it. All right, let's get started. The first thing that I want to mention is when you have a ton of items around you, on the left-hand side of my screen, you can see that there's Excite Shrooms, Paratoads, Bright Moss, all within an area of me. I can find them directly by looking at everything around me, but there's another way. Say if I just want to get that Excite Shroom because I'm farming them up, I can aim and press Q on keyboard and I can go straight down to it and pick it up without looking at it. This is super handy. When you get a little bit more used to that function, when you're on your secret and moving quite fast, you can pick things up pretty quickly without having to look at them. It's just a handy little thing that you can use. Beyond that, this is going to be more of a solo player tip because you're going to need to be in a single player instance of the game. You have a pause game function. It freezes your screen. If you're not playing with friends or not expecting to that night, you can even set it up as a hotkey. So say if you feel a sneeze coming on, feel like, you need to go get some food or a phone call came in, you can just pause the game directly, quickly, immediately, and then come back to whatever you were doing so you don't have to interrupt your hunt or anything else. Next on the menu is the map. And the map has a lot of stuff going on in it. You can look around and figure out where certain things are. Say if you're looking for treasures or other things, you can find them quite easily just by searching. But really when it comes down to the map, what you're using it for is finding monsters and seeing if you want to hunt them. If you haven't been using it, the environment overview, if you press G, brings up a great system to do this. So, if I want to find a Congalala, Rathalos, any of these things I can. What I'm noticing right now is there's an Arkveld, and that Arkveld has a gem. So I could set up a quest right now and fight it and be done with it and get the one gem, or I can press F on the general map, and you can see the Arkveld gem here, and I can press F again and save as an investigation. It costs a few points to do so, but by doing that, not only could I hunt the Arkveld now, but then I can hunt it 3 more times as an investigation and get all these standard bonus rewards. If you don't know about investigations yet, or you've not done them, you can simply go over to Alma. And when you post or join a quest, instead of assignments or optional quests, you can go down to investigations and simply save whatever you think is interesting and come back to it when you want to. It's a very, very handy thing. And not only that, you get to do that single investigation with those rewards 3 times, not just once. It's a very handy feature that I don't think a lot of people use, except for people who are pretty familiar with the game and the menus available to them. Not only that, on the map, you can do something similar with the world map. By pressing R, you can simply scroll over any area and see if there's anything you want from the monsters in that area. However, to save as investigation, you can't do it from this menu. You have to travel over to the environment and switch back over. Let's get rid of this again. There we go. He wasn't doing too hot. I don't really want to make a combat video out of this, but I do want to mention one thing. When you are in combat, focus mode is something that I find can be kind of clunky if you're using your side mouse button to be able to use it, because it forces you to have to squeeze your mouse instead of kind of freeing up another button on your keyboard and mouse. What I do instead is when I go into combat, I press Alt. Alt allows it to be a toggle, so then you're just in focus mode without having to use your mouse. If you do need to get out of that, you press Alt and Shift, then you can run around. Instead of using the mouse, which I just don't like the hold feature. I don't like holds in games. I much prefer toggles for the most part. So another little tip there. On to the next thing is going to be in your info window, and it's going to be the wish list. If you have used the wish list, you know that from Gemma, anything that you can't make at the time but you would like to in the future, you can add it as a wish list item, and then you can use this menu. Say if I want to finally make this insect glaive that I was looking at, I need Lollabarina shells. I don't need to go back to Gemma to figure out I needed Lollabarina shells. I can just go to this menu and be like, oh, I need to hunt that. Oh, I need a defense charm. I need to hunt a Balahara. I need to hunt whatever I need to hunt on any of these items. And it's just a quick menu to get me to focus on what I need instead of going back to town every single time and saying, what was that again? If you're having a hard time finding a specific item from a monster, you can go into your monster field guide. Say if we need a Raydao plate, which is something that is rare, we can go to the fourth menu in this and you can see that, okay, well, we can get a plate from carving the tail at a chance. Let's see what else we can get a plate from. Oh, okay, from a target reward, aka you defeat it one way or another, 5% chance. If you carve or capture, same difference as far as I can tell, you have a 7% chance. From carving the severed tail, you have a 12% chance. This gets you a little bit more wary of how rare things are in the game. So if you're trying to find something specifically, if you can get it as an investigation reward, awesome. If you can't, this is what you're going to have to go forward to try to get. The last thing that I want to mention in this menu is the limited bounties. If you have been doing these, good on you. If you haven't, you should start. And the reason is you can get melding tickets, relic tickets, you can get super expensive armor spheres, which allow you to increase your defenses on your armor so you survive better. All these things are helpful, and this is all through the limited bounty system. These refresh once a week. You can find these in town as well. I'll be going over those a little bit later as well in this video for all the benefits you can do in the town. And that pretty much covers the out and about handy hints that I have for you. On to the tent and town section of this video. There's not too much to talk about in the tent. However, a lot of people just come into the tent because they haven't restocked in a while, and they might have got carted because they didn't have any potions on them while they're fighting a new enemy. In that case, most people just want to get back on their feet and back to the hunt as quickly as possible. To do that, go into transfer items, go to item pouch, and from this menu, you press your sub menu and hit restock items. That's as simple as it is. However, say if you had a few too many extraneous items and you want to go back to the bare bones, you would go to view loadout. You had to set this up, but once you get your inventory looking the way that you want to, you simply, it's a weird, there we go, had a graphical error there. Once you go to your menu and get it set up the way that you want to, you can click R in your item loadouts and register the loadout, and you can even rename it. Usually I have a secondary loadout that has all the medicines to make my character stronger when I need them if the hunts are getting a little bit aggressive. I haven't seen that yet, so I just haven't set it up. But by going and using this loadout system, you can click on this and use this loadout, and it will reset everything that you have to the bare bones necessities without having anything extra. You can also do this with your equipment. So for most of Monster Hunter so far in Wilds, I've been using the Greatsword. I haven't used it beforehand in a Monster Hunter series anywhere. I've been Hammer, I've been Bow, I've been Insect Glaive, but Greatsword I've just stayed away from for whatever reason. So I've been using that. But say I want to learn like Hunting Horn. if I'm learning hunting horn and someone asks me for help and I don't feel confident in helping them, I can simply swap back to my greatsword and very quickly get the job done and go back to learning the weapon that I'm trying to learn. So that's where equipment loadouts come out. The last thing that I want to talk about in the tent is the barbecue menu. Not for the grilling mill, and like you can see how long your buff lasts here, which I've heard a lot of questions about. I don't know when my meal's going to expire. You had to do this or go to your portable barbecue to see it. But the rest menu is actually what I want to talk about. This allows you to change the season through the environment, so you can go to plenty, you can stay and follow, or you can go to inclemency. Now these will change automatically as time passes. However, if you're hunting specifically apex predators like Raid Dao and Uthduna, inclemency is going to offer you the best chance at finding them. Plenty and follow do have differences in creatures in certain areas, so that may also change where you're hunting for a certain creature and give you more options if you're trying to focus farm, say Rathian, because I know that Rathian does show up in certain areas in only specific seasons. Time changes, this has much less effect. I have noticed like maybe Gypceros showing up in the evening and nighttime more than the daytime, but I still see them during the daytime, so I'm not sure how much the day actually matters as for time of day. That covers pretty much everything in the base camp tent menu that I wanted to cover. There's a few other things that are nice in there, but they're less important. What you can do in the tent and you can do outside of your tent is going into your escape menu and going to your customized radial menu. You can, and you should absolutely set up your radial menu or your function menu to have everything quickly at hand instead of using the scrolly thing in the bottom right that I can't stand on mouse and keyboard. It just is way too clunky when you have function bars that you can pull up at the bottom of your screen and switch between what you need when you need it. Next on the list is the ingredient center. This is a great way to get rations for free. That's all they're good for. The provision stockpile is simple. Everyone gets that. The one thing that people might not get is the support ship and Santiago. I've been messing with this for a while and seeing what request gives you the best like perks, and any medicinal and equipment are all okay, but they're randomized, so you never know what you're going to get. I've been finding that miscellaneous items are the best way to get pretty much the rare things in the game, such as trade-in items that otherwise would be hard to find. That seems like the best way to do it, and it gives you the best bang for your buck early. At some point, you might reset into medicinal items once you get everything that you want out of miscellaneous, but that's essentially how Santiago works. He'll disappear and come back every few quests or hunts that you do, so you'll see them show up and disappear quite often. The next thing is going to be the pop-up tent. You can go it through tech or you can go through Conut. The support desk has everything else pretty much wrapped up into itself. You can view any DLCs that you're missing. There's a lot of free DLCs, so I do recommend taking a look at that. You can look at your limited bounties, as I mentioned beforehand. You can deal with pop-up camps. And these, I want to just spend a second on. Having your pop-up camps separated from each other, giving you options for spawning in multiple different areas of a zone, is really handy. You should be doing that in every single zone as you get the chance to, just so that if you do get carded, you can get back into the match quicker. It will always choose your quickest camp to your cart location to get you back on your feet. Lastly, looking at your news, if you don't do this with your daily login reward, being sure to just check when there's new stuff. Recently, we got 2 new limited time events. The Kutku Gone Cuckoo, it allows you to get a special hat that you can't get outside of that limited window, it seems like. And Stocking Supper gives you food items that you can stock up on. Just simple things. Keep an eye for if they say you get anything new here, because this is where it shows up. Finally, we have the Friends and Squad and Link menus. Felicita has all this. If you go and talk squads, you can manage what squads you're in, and this essentially gives you a friend group that anyone or only specific people can join. So if you are just trying to get all your friends together so you can see who's online easier without adding everyone's friend request through their specific ID, the squads are a great way to do this. You just give the squad ID to anyone that you're talking to and they'll be able to pop in really quickly. You can even put this on your hunting profile if you want, you know, random people that you find that enjoy how you hunt to join as well if they do check. Beyond that, squads are pretty simple. The communication window in general is kind of funny. So let's start with the member list. Say if you have a past interaction with someone that you like, you can go to the very far window and you can add through this. But say it's a friend that you haven't met before, you can use the hunter search ID, pop in this, and will bring up someone that then you can send a friend request. I think this is a kind of crazy system, but that's how you add friends. And once you do, you can see the little friend icon next to the people that you have friends with. The next thing is the link member list, and you can have up to 4 people in a link party. Inviting to a link party essentially gives whoever is in your party access to join any quest that you start in on. So say if you start a quest, instead of sending up an SOS flare, you can use that link party to instantly invite anyone in that link party. Furthermore, with link parties, once someone is in your link party, it will have a menu down here and you can invite them to an environmental link. So that allows you to explore out in your zone, not just the lobby, which is technically the towns. The zones, as you run out, are instants, so everyone disappears from town. It will allow anyone who's environmentally linked to you to explore and roam the lands and take out multiple monsters in a row. And I think that covers everything to do with menus in Monster Hunter Wilds that are of like major importance. There are some minor importance things that I have missed, but I didn't want the video to go on too long, so I'm going to end that there. Thank you for watching. If you didn't make it this far, I appreciate it. If you have questions that you want to see other videos done on, such as weapons, monsters specifically, or otherwise, let me know. And I will catch you with at least a video a week with Monster Hunter Wilds. I'll see you next time. Later.